This is Andrew Bosin. I'm a SaaS lawyer. I'm located in New Jersey, represent SaaS startups, entrepreneurs, and vendors across the U.S. I'm also a two-time SaaS entrepreneur. Built my first SaaS startup as general counsel, exited in 2017. I'm now building a SaaS platform that has a back-end AI predictive analytics platform with partners. I spend about 80 to 90% of my time in my law practice, the other 10 to 15% of my time helping my startup. I've had so many people tell me that they really like my SaaS videos. I thought I would do a new one, and this time talk about both startups and also I'll cover vendors. But the topic is really going to be legal and legal fees and money and funding. I really get two types of calls. The first call is the entrepreneurs who are in an industry, want to leave their SaaS company that they work for. They see a real problem that they can solve for, and they go and build, a SaaS product, and they're typically self-funded. They can pay for legal fees. They set up a development team either here or offshore. They understand the product. They understand the back end. They really know what they're doing in terms of what type of product they need to build, how to build it, how to fund it, how to grow the company. And the biggest part of why I think they'll succeed is sales. They're all salespeople in one form or another, or executives in their vertical. So they have a ton of contacts and they know how to talk to people in their industry. The other type of call that I get is the early stage entrepreneur. And, sometimes they're in college, sometimes they're in their 20s or early 30s. They really want to talk to me about my experience in building two SaaS companies. They want to get my insight. My companies are Delaware corporations, so I have a ton of experience issuing stock, vesting, bylaws, board consents, raising monies, etc. So, they really want to get my opinion about so many of the different, legal issues surrounding a SaaS startup. Now, typically, and I'm stereotyping, but, these people don't have a lot of sales experience. They don't have a lot of money. They don't have, the ability to raise capital. And sometimes I ask some very pointed questions. They're not really sure how they're going to sell the product, except for maybe they'll bring on an advisor who has a lot of connections in the industry and will help them sell. The major difference between the inexperienced SaaS entrepreneur and the very experienced SaaS entrepreneur, which I talked about in the beginning of this video, is that the experienced SaaS entrepreneur has thought about the beginning to exit thoroughly. And every stage along the way, they understand, how to build, how to grow, how to scale, how much money they need, the connections they need to make, and the people they bring to the company. The early stage entrepreneur, the two biggest obstacles or impediments I see to growth or building a company is money and fundamental lack of, understanding about business and how to grow and scale a SaaS company, which is very difficult. It's very difficult to sell SaaS software. If you are starting a SaaS company, you need to make legal and legal fees a priority on your line item if you're thinking about financial projections or raising monies. You are going to need a lot of legal help. And if you go to the DIY sites, you're not going to get the type of legal help that you'd get going to me or some of the other leading SaaS lawyers across the country who do this every day for a living and can give you the type of advice that you need and will tell you the truth, because some of us have built SaaS companies. I get calls where people want to get a product out there, and what's the cheapest way to get it out there, and what's the cheapest way to incorporate, and what's the cheapest way to launch my company. I want bare bones agreements. And I really try to help these people. I talk to them, I give the best advice. At the end of the day, I just say that we're not the right fit. If you can't afford $2,500 or $3,500 to get amazing website terms of use and privacy policy agreements and a customer subscription agreement that will protect you, then I don't think you're going to make it as a SaaS company. That's just my opinion in building two of them. And I sometimes get out of my comfort zone and we'll talk about marketing and sales. And I'll say, what's your marketing strategy? What's your sales strategy? How much money do you have in your marketing budget? And a lot of times it's just not a lot of thought put into that. So notwithstanding the legal, you need a lot of money for marketing and sales, legal, financial. You need help with sales, marketing, development. When you sit down and you think about a SaaS company, if it's, just you and somebody you're paying all the money you have to develop the product, you have to say to yourself, well, how am I going to build and launch this company, and go from there? In my first SaaS startup, there was about 7 of us, and we worked like, dogs all day. I sent in 2 years probably 50, 60,000 emails, marketing emails. We took SaaS go-to-market sales training. That's a lot of people working, full-time for a SaaS company, as opposed to one entrepreneur with limited funds trying to make it. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the entrepreneurial spirit. I love helping college students. I love helping young entrepreneurs. I give probably just as much free advice as any lawyer out there because I want to see startups, and entrepreneurs succeed. But if you're going to reach out to me, or another experienced SaaS lawyer and you want our advice or you want, our opinion, you got to be prepared to spend a couple $1,000s or more on the legal agreements. It is what it is. If you don't want to do that, then, you're left to the DIY sites, which I wouldn't, want anybody related to me getting agreements drafted from. That's just, my 2 cents in this situation. So if you're looking for, really good legal advice and you want help and you have a sufficient amount of funds set aside for legal, please call me at 201-446-9643. Thank you.